Good morning and happy Holy Saturday on the Christian calendar. We've got Good Friday, the date of the crucifixion of Christ. Uh, Hang on just a second. There's a knock at the door. Hang on. Yes! It's Elijah. Oh, that's another holiday. Anyway, uh, as I've repeated over and over again, whether you remembered it or not, I was raised Methodist. And when I say raised, I was very active as a sort of a child helper uh, in the First Methodist Church in Columbus, Nebraska, right up until the time I graduated from high school. And I sang in the church choirs, first in the kids choir and then in the adult choir, and uh, uh, yeah, I folded the bulletins and was the candle lighter and in Methodist Youth Fellowship and things like that. But I was a total freaking atheist and had been all my life. The first little Sunday school class I went to, I really, it's not that I'm that smart or anything. It's just that I'm not that stupid. And I really couldn't believe grown-ups believe that kind of stuff. And so uh, I stayed in the church choir and was remained active. First of all, because there wasn't that much to do in Columbus, Nebraska, and you could meet girls and things like that. And the choir director of the children's choir was my piano teacher. Okay, I took piano lessons. Even though we didn't have a piano, I had to practice it at her house. And so it was sort of uh, to support my piano teacher that I sang in the church choir, and that got me into plays and things like that. It was the to tell you the truth, it was a pretty damn pleasant experience, except for the Sunday school lessons, which were just absolutely bonkers. Okay, and uh, oh, and I tried to go to Bible school, summer Bible school, which is like 3 hours locked up in the sweltering basement, and that was really a nightmare. I quit that right off. But when I joined the adult choir director was also the music director of the entire vocal music department of all the schools. Uh, Robert V. Larson, and uh, and I really uh, he was a wonderful, scary guy. Okay, he had suffered migraine headaches, and he was uh, a brilliant musician, brilliant baritone, uh, and he was uh, a ruthless choir director. And so I sang in his school choirs, and not only that, but I worked really hard in uh, in the choirs because I enjoyed doing that. I didn't enjoy any other classes. I enjoyed the music, and over the years, I got all the leads in the school musical and things like that. And Mr. Larson assured that all the other teachers in my high school gave me a C plus average, whether I passed any tests or not, because I wouldn't be able to participate in the choir if I dropped below a C plus. So he had the sort of local school political clout to literally bully all the other teachers into making sure that I got a passing grade, and I was a ruthless abuser of that privilege. Okay, but I wouldn't have graduated from high school had it not been for his influence. But I tell the story in My Life with the Spirits, where of my last communion. You hear stories of first communion. My last communion in the Methodist Church, and I tell the story in My Life with the Spirits, and it's rather amusing. I'm not gonna repeat it here, but it seems funny that that Holy Saturday, okay, the crucifixion, it's a red letter day, but you're supposed to really celebrate the life, the teachings, the inspiration of Jesus, and not his torturous, murderous death. You really don't. You don't think he would appreciate the fact that they turned it into a death cult, okay? And especially Holy Saturday, which is the day after he was crucified, dead and buried, as they say in the creed. And what happens on Holy Saturday? And my Sunday school teacher says, well, he went to hell. What? Yeah, he went to hell because everybody who lived before he was born was in hell because they couldn't believe in him because he wasn't there to believe in. And that's Adam and Eve and Moses. And was that you knocking at the door, dear?
That was the UPS guy and me.
Okay. And Moses and all the patriarchs and everything else, they're all in hell. And would you kind of show me a Bible verse or something that might point me in that direction? And they couldn't. I'm sure there's something to base it on, but they couldn't. And it just sort of added, in my mind, to the absolute self-contradictory absurdity to that whole, he died for my sins and went to hell to let Adam and Eve out. I was just waiting for the next day, Easter, when at least I got to have my fill of deviled eggs and egg salad sandwiches and chocolate and more sugar than I should have been allowed. But anyway, that's my my little talk. I didn't even mean to go off on that because I just wanted to briefly talk about the 30-day period that we're in right now. that includes the entire Christian holy day setup, or the springtime holy day setup. And that's another thing. I mean, the death and resurrection of our the Son of the Son, our Sol Invictus, our it should be at the end of the solar year. Look at the very end of the solar year, at the end of Pisces. Okay, Pisces. Okay, Jesus the fish and all of that. At the end of Pisces, the sun has been going down earlier and earlier and earlier and earlier every night or every evening for 6 months. Is it ever going to come back? The days are getting shorter and shorter, and the nights are getting longer and longer. But at the very end of Pisces, way back, okay, shouldn't Christmas be in springtime? Okay, the sun does appear as it's slowing down, getting ready to go back. It appears to stand still for 3 days. Okay, I get that. But then it's born. Okay. Anyway, everybody's religion has a springtime thing. Okay, and that springtime thing is covered by the 30-degree period that is Crowley's Prince of Disc, or the Prince of Disc. Okay. Crowley says, the Prince of Disc represents the airy part of Earth, indicating the fluorescence and fructification of the element. He rules from the 21st degree of Aries to the 20th degree of Taurus. Okay, and somewhere here I've got, okay, there's our Prince of Discs. Now I've sort of rounded it off to 20 degrees to 20 degrees, but we know what that, okay. So, admittedly, Crowley's is much cooler artwork, okay. The figure of the prince is meditative. He is the element of earth become intelligible because of the air part, okay. Clothed in light armor, his helmet is crowned with the head of a bull, and his chariot is drawn by an ox, this animal being peculiarly sacred to the element earth. In his left hand, he holds this disc, okay, which is an orb resembling a globe marked with mathematical symbols as if to imply the planning involved in agriculture. He's got the old farmer's almanac there in his hand, okay? In his right hand, he bears an orb scepter surmounted by a cross, the symbol of the great work accomplished. For it is his function to bring forth the material of the element that vegetation, which is the sustenance of the spirit itself. The character denoted by this card is that of great energy, brought to bear upon the most solid of practical matters. He is energetic and enduring, a capable manager, a steadfast and persevering worker. He is competent, ingenious, thoughtful, cautious, trustworthy, imperturbable. He constantly seeks new uses for common things and adapts his circumstances to his purposes in a slow, steady, well thought out manner. Okay. If any of you have ever seen the video series, it's on YouTube. I think it's called Suburban Homestead by Soleil Oliveira. He is the most brilliant gardening artist. And I mean artist, okay? Just look it up, because I think Soleil Oliveira is the perfect example of what Crowley's describing there as a native. Okay, now this may not be true for Soleil Oliveira. He's almost entirely lacking in emotion. He is somewhat insensitive and may appear dull, not Soleil, okay? But he is not. It so appears because he makes no effort to understand ideas that are beyond his scope. He often may appear stupid. No, that's not Olive. Okay. And is inclined to be resentful of more spiritual types. He is slow to anger, but if driven, becomes implacable. It is not very practical to distinguish between the good and evil dignities of this card. One can merely say that in case of his being ill-dignified, both the quality and quantity of his characteristics are somewhat degraded. The reaction of others to him will depend almost entirely upon their own temperaments. Okay, in the I Ching, the airy part of Earth is represented by the 53rd hexagram Ken. The commentary concerns the flight of wild geese gradually approaching the shore. Now, we've got that hexagram that appears on the Prince of Discs there, okay, which if you would read the 53rd hexagram, it would give you further insight on literally on all the court cards. Anyway, in my new book, which I hope you've ordered, and it should be in your mailbox shortly, Tarot Architect. I've even, at the very end, I put the court cards and the I Ching hexagrams, and just sort of an abbreviated thing. For 53, development, gradual progress, the Prince of Discs. Slow but sure, no need to be hasty, be patient, proceed gradually, one step at a time. Progress remains stable and strong by growing slowly. And that's words of wisdom I'm going to leave you with today. And I guess you can deal with Jesus going to hell in your own in your own way. And I'll see you tomorrow for Sunday school, Easter Sunday school tomorrow. Until then, continue to be good to yourself, be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.